YouTube preparing to live stream the meeting. And we'll do some administrative work first, and then we'll talk about what we'll do. So we got the content. I share my screen, and you can see on the screen already that we are live to YouTube. I shut down the speaker here so I don't get an echo, and we know that we always have an issue. Let me stop sharing. We always have an issue with the delay, so it becomes even more irritating. Okay, so we always know when we set up, we're streaming live on YouTube. I'm streaming live there, and I'm also recording via Zoom, and you always can look at the recording through Blackboard. And I'm also recording on my computer using a program called MSN Recorder Max in an MP4 format. So I always can have that in case even my internet goes down. I always have it stored. I can't get to their servers. Any issues? So Isabel and Matt and Franco and Emily, your webcam. Okay, so who wants to volunteer to be moderating the chat? Any volunteers? Okay, Jordan, you be one, and we have a second calling.
I can do it.
I'll do it.
Okay, we got so many. Great, we have so many volunteers. So Amelie, I'll let you be the second one, and of course, when there's something that's not clear, please interrupt me at an appropriate time, and we will address the issues. Okay. So we talked about the idea of documentation of collaboration, and we went through our first assignment of Zoom to be able to record to the cloud and to the computer via Zoom. And we also said via its own infrastructure of Zoom recording to YouTube. We need to, in order to do that, we need to have an enterprise version of Zoom, which we do have if we're a member of the university community, to be able to stream live to Zoom. So we're using a lot of their features that are not available to every feature. The only one feature that's turned off that I'm disappointed about is AIQ Companion, that will take the audio version of voice to text and summarize that, which I think would be useful. And anytime you do a recording, rather than for the first pass, let the AI, that's something that generative AI can do, is to write up a summary. So some of you, if you'd like, some of you may want to even review a program called Otter, OTTER.ai, to see how that will work in Zoom. So that would be a good idea if some of you want to take on that issue. Amelie, maybe you and Andres, have you heard of that program? Amelie?
Yeah.
I have not.
Have you, Anders? Have you ever used it? Anders?
No, I've heard of it.
Okay, so let me just share my screen with you. Hold on. That'd be interesting, some of you that want to start off. Let me share my screen. And let me just go up here. It's called Otter.ai. Zoom has something called AIQ. And they both summarize meetings using Gen AI. But I'll check again with the university, but the university has the administration has blocked this from us. If you look down in the settings, you'll see this, and I've used it before the university blocked it, and it was pretty good. It basically summarized what was in our class sessions, and it also even gave a summary of who spoke in the class, what percentage of time someone spoke in the class. It was pretty good. They've blocked that for reasons that I disagree with, but they block it. So I'll reach out maybe to them. But Otter AI, they have a free, I think they have a free trial or something. Try out, those of you that want to, also you can try out. I'm leaving this optional for right away, but Anders and Amelie agreed. If you have time, check this program out, Otter AI, and you can even use it. You can even, it'd be interesting for our next assignment, even use it. So this is, they have a free, I think, trial where it will sit, it'll be like another instance in Zoom where it will instance in Zoom to summarize. So if we go to, let's see here. Interesting. And that's what's so nice about this class is we can try out so many things that we don't have a chance to. If I just type in Otter AI Zoom. Let's see. AI assistant for Zoom meetings. Solutions, research, schedule a demo. I don't know. Start for free. It's your email, records audio, writes notes, captures action items, and generates summaries. So that'd be great if you could, Amelie and Andres, if you could look at it. Maybe Louisa, you wanted to look at it too. Start for free, see what comes up, and maybe for next time you can show us what it does. But Autopilot, it's great that it can save us time. Okay, so that is something to look at. Those of you that have a little bit of time, look at that and let us know. You can add it to your, even to your next assignment. I'll tell you what the next assignment is, and it may even be good to see how this works, the AI assistant for Zoom meetings, how it works, and basically evaluate it. Interesting. And to see, you know, it's interesting. Everybody know we have a new business school dean. Were you aware of that, Louisa? Were you, Amelie?
I was, yeah. We got
Yeah.
an email in the business school.
Yeah, so we have a new business school dean, and his what I like about him is his area is business technology. So he really gets tech, and I had a meeting with him on Zoom, and he had it on his system, and I said, what do you use it for? He goes, oh, I have so many meetings. Can you imagine a new dean has to meet with all faculty, all staff, every donor? I mean, this guy is from the morning to the night having meetings. What does he need? Somebody else to take notes for him? He has problems. So he has Otter.ai as part of his system. So what I'm thinking, Amelie, is if it works, maybe we can reach out to him and have him get us an upgrade, right? And have the, at least our class as a starting, let him pay for the AI assistant. Isn't that a great idea? So that's fine.
Yeah.
So if we like it, right? He wants to be, and he wants our students to have skills to get out into the community, because what he wants to do is raise our rankings. One of the ways to raise our ranking in the business school, he's done it in other schools that he's been in the past. He's raised them high in the business school rankings, is that they need to have good jobs when they get out, right? How do you evaluate a good business school? Are they employable? And what salaries do they get? And the higher the salaries and the more they're employable and the happier the students and the employers, your ratings go up. So that's a great idea. I love my idea there. So if you guys can even say, hey, we tried it out, now give even our class an upgrade version to it, even if he doesn't want to give the whole school of business, let her give our class that we're learning this. So that'll be great. So anyone else that wants to get involved with it, the more we have it, we can say already that we've given demonstrations, and we'll see whether it's good enough. But it sounds like if the university, and if I go to zoom.miami.edu, let's see if this works. And I go to settings. You see this AI companion? You see this, Amelie?
Yeah.
So basically in this responsible, this has been meeting with AI. As a host, you can generate a summary. Summaries are sent after the meeting has ended based on the share options. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. No, it would be.
And it doesn't mean that I can't edit it, right? I couldn't give it to you, Amelie, and say, hey, they're not going to be 100% accurate. They may start summarizing our chit chat or something that's irrelevant, but it's a start. So I've asked the university, I do not have control. You see this? I don't have control of what settings they make available to us, because it's the university. And in the beginning, what happened was Zoom does not charge the university for this feature. But when they saw it, they got scared. They said, oh, I don't know what they're going to do with their data. And even Zoom in the beginning said, maybe we'll learn from your data. So what happens? Companies say, I don't want you to have my personal information, what we discuss in meetings. It could be private, right? So they say, oh, we're not going to use your data. But they put that veto on it. And then they finally told me, well, for you, Dr. Rush, we'll make a separate server and only you can use this. But I don't want a separate server, because guess what? If it's a separate server, I have enough problems getting online. I don't need them to give me a separate server. And if it's not working, guess what? You don't see me. So maybe we can get around this. I can tell him that this is not working. He may have more clout. I'm a full professor, but he's already a new dean. Maybe they have more clout for this to work, but at least he can give us, I know he's using Otter AI. Let us give him an upgrade. So that's my idea here. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, let's go and let's do some housekeeping. So I'm in section J. You can see here, let's go to what's due. And let me just turn this off so I know. So basically, we know today, we know that last week, September 4th, we had the assignments, and if I look at announcements, we extended our Zoom, since we had some issues, our group and individual assignments, we extended it to September 9th. So we extended that to September 9th. And
Dude, I know, I'm so hungry.
so somebody's hungry. You want to then shut your mic then, so we don't need to hear that. So in this case, we had the advanced collaborative tools that was due today. So we had that. for the individual, and then we had for the collaboration tool. And then if I went to courses, in the audit area, and went to groups, we can see in group 0, we had the individual assignments, right, with the Zoom link, and then we had making sure that we have it, and then the individual assignment there. And if I went to the groups, right, we should then have group 1, we had the individual assignments, and then we had the assignment here with the Zoom recording. Now, in this one, for instance, one of the things, let me just tell you, is when this is put in your group, everybody listen to me, whenever anything is put in your group, everyone is responsible to check to see what the issue is. So in the sign in here, I don't know what this is. See how this is access denied? So you need to check whenever you're going to be putting anything in your assignment, you need to check to see what happened. So for group 1, if this is the case, you need to put in the live stream, or you need to put in the recording, you need to have it available so that someone else can see it. So all of you, Ava, Allie, Park, and Logan, whenever you put something in, you guys need to check whether one person does it, the other people in your group need to do it. Okay? So, pardon?
Sorry, I just have a question about that. So when I recorded it to the cloud, so then
Right.
when I tried to get the like live stream, or not the live stream, but the recording.
The link?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could upload. I didn't see anything about like turning off a password or anything like that. It was kind of
Well,
just
the passwords are in your settings for recordings.
okay.
It's in
I
your
could
Zoom.
probably
Go to
do
your
it.
settings again, and you have to turn off the passwords in your settings.
Okay. I think I already
Okay.
did that. I'm
Okay,
just
so
not sure
stay with
why.
me afterwards, Ava, and we'll work out the individual issue on it.
Okay, thank
But
you.
you see that I don't have access to it when I do that.
Yeah. I just couldn't figure out like
Yeah,
another.
okay, so we'll figure it out. You
Okay.
understand? But those are the ideas, and even what you can do, Ava, is you have other groups. You see that you have access to. If they've gotten it done, you can reach out to them too, Ava, sometimes, and say, hey, listen, I had problems. This is how I was doing it. How did you get it
Okay.
to work? Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So stay with me afterwards and we'll discuss it. So under the what's due, I have this assignment of the communication skills, and there were a number of issues with Zoom, Ava, and one of the issues even with Zoom is that not everything got recorded in Zoom. For instance, if you went into a breakout, if I go to breakout rooms, you remember how I go, Ava, to breakout rooms, and I'm on recording of Zoom, Zoom does not record the breakout rooms. And many times that's invaluable, right? Think about it. I'm working with your group. It would be useful that everybody see that, that we had some issue. And sometimes you can't see my control panel. You know how you have the control panel where it has the mute and has all the different commands. You cannot see that using Zoom. So a lot of things, it's almost like you cannot record Zoom features. So the idea becomes, what can we do to make that happen? If Zoom doesn't record it, what can we do? Do you have any idea, Ava?
I guess that's also why we live stream to YouTube. Can you see it
Well,
on the
live
YouTube?
stream to YouTube is one way. And then we also can use other recording systems screen recording systems that can run on top of Zoom. So we can see everything. Sometimes you don't, as you may want to just record in, have another server rather than Zoom to record in. So the next assignment of what's due, let me just let's go back to what's due. The next assignment we have for Wednesday, this Wednesday, we have the software guide that you need to do. And next Monday, what I'd like to do is that everyone do then an assignment to do screen recording. That do the screen recording assignment before the class on Monday, and also do the readings of chapter 5 I have to make available. So if I go to, let me make this available. Here are the assignment for the individual screen recordings assignment is what I want is each person in your group find an individual screen recording program. I want it to be free that works on your operating system. It can be recording to your computer or recording to the cloud. And I want in your group, each person have another one. One of the things that you could do is even type in free screen recording software. And you can see here, there's a number of screen recording softwares that you can use. Popular ones are OBS, Screen Recorder, Screenomatic, Loom. Loom is pretty good. The free version, the only issue is what, Amelie?
The time for Loom, it only allows you to record for up to 5 minutes, I believe.
Right,
So
it's only,
a lot
go
that
ahead.
you want to talk about.
Right. Sometimes it's good enough, right? And it makes you
Yeah,
make
for like short tutorials.
short
Yeah.
tutorials are great on it. And this works really nice. I have an education version. I don't know if they're still giving that out where it gives me unlimited time. You know, by being an educator. I don't know. You can research that, Amelie, and see is there a, if you have a .edu email.
Yeah, I know that they asked for my organization, and when I put in my school email and everything, they associated me with Miami, and they said that there were like 43 other users from with like miami.edu.
Okay, but
who
they
were
didn't say
using
you
it.
can have a free. See if you can send them a text for support and say, since I'm a student at the university, can we get unlimited? Otherwise, it's not bad in terms of this. Camtasia is another one. The screen. There's also a number of QuickTime. So what I want for each group, it doesn't have to be for the entire, we have 40 students, so we don't need to have 40 different ones. But among your group, if you have 4 or 5 people in your group, is have each person choose a different screen recorder and record that on top of Zoom. And your individual assignment is to go over the pros and cons of your screen recording, make it short, but do kind of the pros and cons, the limitations, where does it work, what operating systems, things like that. And then the second part of your assignment is to meet formally in your group, picking one of the screen recorders that you're using plus Zoom. And in that case, you can see, does it record breakout rooms? Does it record our panel? And each of you in your group, in a succinct way, just share with the other group members what are the pluses and minuses of your recordings. So it's a pretty easy assignment. And why I like each of you to do a different one is that in your toolbox, you have many different free screen recording softwares that you can use. That will be really nice to have. And if you look at this, that'll be part of your assignment. So you'll have assignment 2 here, individual recording demonstration, and the group 1 is that you'll meet, and in this set, you will share your recording and then put in a little description under items, what each person presented and which software they presented. And that is due for next Monday. So you can see here on next Monday on the assignments that will be of what's due. You'll see that will be due Monday before class. And if I go to chapter 5, I'll have for next Monday also, this Wednesday, you see September 11th should be chapter 2, which is the TG2, which is the software. And for next Monday, I want you to do chapter 5. So let me go to my Wiley Adaptive and make sure that that Wiley Adaptive is available. Let me go to the adaptive assignment. I'm going to open the assignment just to make sure that it is perfect. I need to do the due date. So I'm going to edit the assignment. And I'm going to go to next step. It's chapter 5 and set a due date. And we said then that there will be assign it to the entire class, not to an individual, and make it the due date. Then on the 16th, and we'll make it before class. That's why you know that you want to do it before the class. Every time I make an assignment, it'll be due right before the class. So I'll make it at 5 p.m. available to the students. I'll say save. Make sure I say save here, save my assignment. And it says 1 due date. And let's make sure that it is available. Let me go back to Wiley Adaptive and make sure that you see it. You do, and let me make sure that the Wiley quizzes also for chapter 5. Make that available to you. Edit test options. And of course, I want to make it available. I'll make an announcement. I'm going to keep it at 2 since everybody likes 2 times. I know the last grade is attempted. And then we want to make it due September 16th and at 5 p.m. And I submit, and then you need to check, does it appear? Yes. And then let me make it on off so I can see what you see, and yes. So Wednesday's the software due. Monday is data acknowledgement. Data is really important because after we do the data, then we're going to start analyzing data. And in order to analyze the data, we'll be doing some forecasting. In order to be forecasting, we're going to have some issues. We always want to know how to document. Any questions on that? So. So there was an announcement today. Anybody know what a big tech announcement there was? Anybody hear anything? Anders, did you hear about a tech announcement today?
Yeah, Apple made a big announcement.
Apple. Okay, and did you keep up with that? Did you hear anything?
I did not.
Yeah, anybody else hear anything? Apple came up with new products. So what are their big products? Of course, the phone, right? What else? Anybody have an Apple Watch? Who has an Apple Watch? Am I the only one with a watch? No one has an Apple Watch, the Apple Watch, and what else? Anybody have earbuds? Ava, what kind of earbuds you wearing?
Me?
Yeah,
What kind of earbuds do I have?
yeah. Do you have any?
Oh, I do. I have headphones.
Headphones, okay. So they came up with Apple came up with new iPods. They came up with new earbuds that they had. And then their earbuds then can be used as hearing aids, and they also can test your hearing. So they're coming up with it. So what do you think, Anders, that they're incorporating into their watch and to their phones? 2 letters.
AI.
AI, of course. How could they not, for investors even, Anders, how could they not put that up? So they're going to be putting that up. And if we think about it, let me just go to, we thought about last class, right? When I thought about, am I sharing with you? Let me just share, right? Let me just share. So if I think about it, you remember, Amelie, that last time when we talked about hardware, and we talked about issues with hardware. We talked about, you remember, the CPU. You remember that, Amelie?
Yes.
We talked about the CPU, and we said there was a microprocessor, and it basically allows the brains of the computer, right? And we talked about also in that CPU, we had something called primary storage, a lot of times RAM, random access memory. So when we thought about that CPU, we think about 3 things here. The CPU is the central processing unit. A GPU, Amelie, stands for what? The
Graphical
G
processing unit.
graphical. And where does that mean? It means that anytime I have graphics, so Anders, it means what? Anytime you're going to be doing any type of gaming, you're going to do any graphics, what do you want? You want to take the pressure off the CPU and transfer it to the GPU. And then there's something called an MPU. Have you ever heard of that, Anders?
Yeah, it's a neural processing unit.
It's a neural processing unit. So what does it mean? That if I do any generative AI on the machine itself, it requires what? A lot of resources, because it's a lot of data, and it has to process that over and over again. So what they're saying, instead of just going to a server in the cloud, what now is being done is they call it a small language model, is they're trying to do some of that processing on the machine itself. So what is that? It's basically on their processing unit or their neural processing unit. So guess what? If I talk about, and you can even search that, Anders, if I search iPhone 16 chipset, notice what it says. It says iPhone 16 has a major processor booth with a new A18 chipset. And it has a CPU with it. But guess what else do you think it has with it?
An NPU.
NPU. So what it has then, that iPhone 16, in order to do that, has an NPU on it. And here's the prices on it. And guess what? Does it have, you think it has more RAM than the older iPhone? What do you think, Anders?
Yeah.
It has more RAM, right? It's going to have then more RAM on it. And what else? Do you think it's going to have more external storage?
Probably.
Yes. And what they want to do on their new iPhone, you can search it, is they say some of the processing will be done on the iPhone. Will it be enough? Of course not. And then others, they'll be doing it on their own private cloud where they'll take your data and they'll process it and bring it back. And their concern, Anders, is saying, we'll keep your data private and we'll even let third parties do what? Audit us to make sure we're keeping it private. Because what do companies want? I want my data private. I want just like I want my Zoom meetings, if it's going to be able to know me well, of what my assignments are, how to answer email, or where I'm going to be in calendar, or send photos to certain groups of my friends, I don't want the whole world to be knowing about it, or whatever I have. So that's how they're going to be doing their new iPhone. And you can just think about it, those exact same things that we looked at last week, that we talked about their primary storage and their secondary storage. And an iPhone basically is another device that has a chipset, of course, not only just my laptop. And it's going to be important to know on that chipset, I'm going to need to have then faster processing speed. And not only that, break it down not only to my CPU, my graphical, but give me a neural type. And that's what they're kind of bragging about. And guess what, Anders, a lot of their features aren't available just yet, but they're going in that direction. And they're using that open AI, that ChatGPT, they're incorporating it with it. To say, hey, we're not starting off scratch, but we'll have a specialized CPU that will take care of it. And then we'll try around our apps, we'll try to help users understand how they are behaving. And for instance, if I have to, trying to listen to me and, on their phone, once I'll be able to do it, to be able to understand my environment, to see what I needed to do. Questions? So the other chapter that I wanted to do was this, which is due on Wednesday, is software. I like this diagram. Ellie, I don't see your face. I guess Ellie, I just see like your forehead. So maybe you want to adjust your camera. But if I look at this slide here, you see this was hardware that I spoke about. This is hardware being my memory, my CPU, my RAM in memory, my my primary storage, and then my secondary storage. And then there's something called, you see this ring here called system software. So what's another term for system software, Demian? What do you think another word for system software is? What do you think, River? What's another word for system software? What computer do you have right now that you're viewing me in?
I have a Mac.
You have a Mac. So what system software does a Mac have? What's another term for system software?
Storage.
What's another term for system? Have you ever heard of operating system? Have you ever heard of OS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's system software. So for instance, what I want for each student to do now, do you hear me, Noah? Each student to do is find what operating system, what OS are you using on your computer? Not just that you have a Mac OS, but what version of Mac OS do you have? So everybody do that now. Everybody understand my question? Alexandria, right? In terms of being active here, is find what operating system do I have? Just like I asked you last time, tell me how much memory you have, how much hard drive space you have, right? This time I want you to find what operating system do I have on my computer I'm using now. So Alexandria, are you looking it up or did you find it?
Yeah, I think I have Sonoma
Okay, you have Sonoma, operating system Sonoma. Is there a version number?
14.1.
14.1. Have you ever been to Sonoma? Alexandria. So basically all the operating systems seem to be around California. Sonoma is a lovely town. What did you get, Noah?
Also Sonoma,
You have Sonoma, which version?
14.6.1.
14.6. Okay, and Gabriella, what do you have?
I haven't been able to find it.
Okay, so search. Finding out what is the operating system. How do I find what kind of machine do you have? What kind of computer do you have in front of you?
It's a MacBook Air.
Okay, so try to look it up. And Louisa, what do you have?
I have the same as theirs, Sonoma.
Which is what? Sonoma. Okay, which version?
It's 14.6 as well.
Okay, and Anders, what do you have?
Sonoma 14.6.
Okay, and Amelie?
Also Sonoma 14.6.
Okay. Now, do you have an operating system? I'm saying every device that has a CPU needs an operating system. What's an operating system? An operating system I can think about is a system that basically is software that's usually supplied by the manufacturer that puts together, basically is able to run all the apps. If, for instance, I wanted to take my PowerPoint that's residing on my hard drive and bring it into RAM, the operating system takes care of it. If I want to save to my hard drive, I want to save to the cloud, the operating system takes care of it. If I'm attached to a printer and I want to print, the operating system takes care of that. So in this case, Amelie, do I have an operating system? You have a phone?
Yes.
What kind of phone do you have?
I think it's the Apple Pro Max 15.
Your phone is, right?
Yeah.
What operating system does your phone have?
I am trying to find that right now.
Okay, so everybody try to find out what operating system, Logan, did you hear me? What operating system is your phone running? And the beginning of the operating system, it would be called what? If I think about it, it's called what? Have you ever heard the term Amelie iOS?
Yeah, mine's an iOS.
iOS, what version? So basically you want to find out on your phone, what version are you running? That's iOS. Mac OS, notice it's from my Mac computer. iOS, they're using it for my phone.
Mine is a 17.
17, okay.
Mine is also 17.6.1.
And do you think the new phone has a different operating system, Amelie?
I'd assume so.
Yeah. So they have more advances. So that they'll have a new chipset, and along with the new chipset, they'll put in a new operating system, and it'll have a higher number, right? Won't be a lesser number. And what will it have? More features to be able to do what? To communicate between that neural processing unit and that GPU and the CPU, and to be faster, right? To get your camera in all the different modes. Basically, think about an OS or an operating system that comes. Now, can you have more than one operating system on a device? Some of you, for instance, can on a Mac run Windows operating system, and you run it sometimes in virtual mode, or you take part of a RAM and run Windows on it. Sometimes you can have something called Linux. On some phones, it's called Android. All of these are operating systems, and you say, who cares? That's always what I want you to think about, not just even memorizing it. What is that going to make me? The reason why you care is that certain software has to be able to be adaptable to certain operating systems. So for instance, we are going to be doing some fintech or financial technology applications in a couple of weeks, and that some of the software runs on Windows. And the problem is, many of you do not have Windows on your machine. We have computer labs that have Windows, but there's a problem there that it's not 24/7. So what we'll be doing next week is what I want is running a Windows operating system, not on your computer, but remotely. We'll be logging into a remote server where that remote server will have installed Windows operating system. If you have Windows operating system on your machine, you could run the software on your machine, or you also could work remotely. Why is this important? That we want to basically have a remote server that runs different operating systems and have maybe better processors, more RAM, more storage, because we're data intensive. So this is the hardware. Everybody understand? Now you understand anytime you see system software, another term for system software is operating systems, OS, and any device I'm using, whether it's a phone, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a mainframe, I can use other devices have operating systems. Even what I think, anybody hear the term IoT? Alexander, have you heard the term IoT?
I've not.
Okay, so what do you think you should do if you haven't heard of it? In this class, Alexander.
I'm gonna double
Look
check.
at- Check it up, right, Gabrielle? Check it up, right? IoT. What does IoT stand for? Kareem, what does IoT stand for?
I'm searching it up right now.
Yeah, good. Everybody, you can fall asleep here. Nathan, what is IoT? If I have to call on you, if I call on Gabriel or I call on Alexandria, it's the same thing I call on you, right?
It stands for
What does it stand for?
in thing.
Internet of Things. What do you think that is, an Internet of Things?
Network made up of a bunch of like low bandwidth different
Like what?
systems.
Have you ever
different
heard of like an
systems.
Internet of Things? Have you ever heard of a Nest? Have you ever heard of cameras, surveillance cameras? Right? Have you ever heard of Ring? All of those devices have everything. Now they're smart devices, right? There's a smart refrigerator. There's a smart thermostat, right? They said there's a smart surveillance system. There's a smart camera. There's a smart refrigerator. There's a smart stove. There's a smart toilet. There's smart everything around my house. And what does that mean? Do you think it has a CPU in it? What do you think, Emily? Do you think these Internet of Things have a CPU in it?
Probably.
Yes. They have a CPU. Do you think they have an operating system, Kareem? Do you
Yeah.
think- Yeah, it has an operating system. Do you think it has RAM? Do you think it has some kind of, sometimes like those rings, they have some external storage in the unit. Sometimes they go where? To the cloud to save, right? All of these then of the Internet of Things are also computer devices. What are people worried about those devices if they get onto the internet? What are they afraid of, Eli? Is that they can be hacked, right? That somebody can gain access. That if you have on the phone, you have on your surveillance camera, I can look into your house. Or Ella, somebody can look into my house, right? That you want to make it that it's secure. So all of these devices then have operating systems, and they also have apps to see them, that you can see them on your phone, you can see them directly. These are all Internet of Things. Why am I going over this? Because it's going to be important to know the security. Vulnerabilities of not only your computer, but all these devices. Louisa, how did you get onto this system? Is you got on by your credentials, right? When you got onto this. Louisa, when you get onto your credentials, you're going onto the university's network. When you're on the university's network, Louisa, someone else can be on this university network that we don't even know about. And what they can do, what's the vulnerability, is they can take your computer, my computer, and use them to attack other computers. And we don't even know that they're on our computer, but they're within the network of the university. That's why the university will maybe have them as guest speakers, are very concerned why hackers love to get onto the university network, because not only just to get our stuff, but to use all our computers. Just think about it. How many students are there in the university? Let's say there were 10,000, and think about with faculty and so forth, 20,000 computers they can get a hold of, get their software onto our computers. We're on the network, and they can attack hundreds of other thousands of other computers. So they need to be security on those. So those are the areas that you can see on this system software where they're talking about the operating system, the graphical user interface, and the social interface. And then the applications, you know all these applications, right? They're apps, and think about it, a lot of this is going to be done with even more voice recognition, facial recognition, personal app recognition. They're all great, but guess what? People are concerned about that it comes. You see my screen, right? So if I go to business, I go to tech, let's see what's happening. You remember I asked you, Louisa, that you can sign up for the New York Times, you can get it for free?
Yes.
If I go to technology, you see this Apple unveils new iPhones with built-in artificial intelligence. The company also showcased a new Apple Watch, AirPods that can reduce noise at concerts near construction sites. All of this is using artificial intelligence to reduce the background noise. But this is where people are concerned. Look at this. AI can now create lifelike videos. Can you tell what's real? So what do you think, Louisa? Do you think she's real or not?
Maybe not.
Okay, so we'll say not AI. So Emily Elizabeth, do you see this one? You see it on my screen?
Yeah, I can
think
see
that's-
it.
You think it's AI or not?
I think that's AI.
Okay, that's AI. And what do you think in this case? This is a basketball player here. So what do you think, Eli? You think that's AI or not? What do you think, Eli?
Yeah.
That's AI or not? AI, okay. This was not made by AI. What about this demolition? What do you think, Alex Chase? Wow. AI or not?
I'm gonna say it's AI.
Okay. Oops, not quite. How about these people here? What do you think, Gabrielle?
I think AI.
AI. It's hard to tell, right? This guy, Isuki, AI, what do you think? In this case, Ava, what do you think?
AI.
AI. Everybody just saying everything AI. Here it is, the original. This is generated by, this is the original and this is generated. It's hard to tell, isn't it? It's creepy. Wow. Is this a real woman? What do you think? In this case, Ava Victoria.
Maybe AI. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Jesus. And the helicopter? This to me is really, I mean, it's really. Louisa, what do you think?
I don't know. I think it's maybe
I
AI.
Not quite. What about this bike ride? What do you think, Kareem?
AI.
No. And this jet skier? Gee, Logan, what do you think?
AI.
Okay, and generated, you can see here are the result. Our score is 50%. So unbelievable. So these were manipulated by, she's real. I thought she really was. From the background, I thought she was. And these were real. Unbelievable. So you can kind of see how difficult, and then when you can think about yourself that you can clone yourself, right? And that it's really difficult to see what is real and what is not. I took the test, I got 50%, and you almost think now everything is generated by AI. It's amazing. So let me just share the screen with you. So if I go to my screen and let me go to, this is the audit. So you can see here, let me go to the groups. So you can see here in the group here, you'll have an individual screen recording assignment where you'll do your assignment, what you'll use here. Here, Daniel used OBS, and then you'll see in this case, you'll see also the sample screen recording, similar to what you were doing before, but just having your entire group there and you putting in your YouTube live stream link, your Zoom link, and also your recording. Choose one of the recording screens that you can record as well. Sometimes you can even use two recording screens, one on top of the other. So that's due for Monday. So the only thing on the individual, what I suggest you do tonight, you can even meet with your group. Make sure you put another folder there, but meet with your group and have in separate recording softwares that you're using. Okay? And that's the assignment. So I want to have all of our toolkit to be able to have all our recording work done. And then we'll start out with other assignments that we'll record in the other assignments. Everybody clear on that? Ava, Victoria, you have any questions?
No, all clear.
All clear, great. Anything, Amelie, that I need to know in the chat?
Nope, all good.
All good. Okay, so since it's all good, what I'm gonna do is take attendance, stay with you. After class, I ask a couple people to stay with me. We'll see what the issues are, and we'll be on Wednesday. We'll be doing some more demos and things, and if you get a chance, look at that otter.ai and see if that's useful for us, and then I'll reach out to the dean and ask him to give us a gift. Okay, we'll see what he says. Okay, so stay with me. I appreciate everybody that was in the chat moderating it, and I appreciate you all being with me. And it seems like we're getting on a roll, getting everything together. So stay with me if you have issues. Otherwise, we'll see each other on Wednesday. Let me just do attendance here. And let me go through the other one, make sure I'm in the right section. Let me go to attendance. Let's see what it says. I have to do check-in, check-in, check-in. Start check-in. Once you check in, you don't need to see me. You can go on your merry way and see me in a couple of days and reach out. Okay, 3204.
Thank you,
So
Professor.
stay with me. My pleasure. I'm glad that we
Thank
were
you.
able
Have a
to
good
spend
night.
time here. Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Professor.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
3204. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's 3204. Let me close out some of these.
My group is staying after to just talk to you about our group assignment. I think we sent you an email.
Okay, we'll look at it. So let's just make sure that everyone else is here. Everybody got the number here? Ellie, you got the number, right? I can stop sharing. It's 3204. Let me stop sharing. Let me turn off the recordings.